I call Jan Logie. This is a 5-minute call.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to take a short call on this, the second reading of the Social Assistance, Portability to Cook Islands, Niue and Tokelau Bill. The Green Party is supporting this bill, as well as the SOP that has been presented, I understand, by the Honourable Winston Peters to address the concerns raised by submitters, including most notably 2 heads of states, regarding the requirement of 5-year residence post the age of 50, which has also been raised by other members of this House. This bill, basically for people listening, improves the access of people who live in the realm of New Zealand to superannuation. So the realm countries are Niue, Tokelau and the Cook Islands. And this bill sits on the precipice of resolving long outstanding concerns that I'm sure many members of this House have had raised with them over many years. It will enable people to access 100% of superannuation from realm states, living in those states, if they've spent 20 years in this country. And it will enable them to access 50% if they've spent 10 to 20 years on these islands. As long as, and this is our problem, 5 of those years have been spent in New Zealand post the age of 50. Now, realm countries are part of our constitutional arrangements in this country. Tokelau, for example, the New Zealand appointed representative in Tokelau has the power to overturn rules that have been passed by their general whānau, which is in effect their parliament. The economy of Niue is funded significantly by the overseas and development and aid budget from this country. They have a population of under 1,600 living on those islands, whereas there are 24,000 plus, I understand, Niueans living in this country. The Cook Islands obviously are in a different position, but as with all realm countries, their past and futures are inextricably linked with ours. As has been noted in this House earlier, many men from the Cooks died in the First World War, and we saw the crosses on the lawn in their remembrance recently. And people from the Cook Islands contribute significantly to this House. People from all the island states have contributed to our economy and our society. Where I live in Porirua, there are wonderful rare moments where we get to hear the Cook Island drums rousing us to action from the streets. The people covered by this bill have spent decades in this country, providing labour and wisdom and culture and paying tax. It should not be seen as an act of beneficence to ensure that they can access the fruits of those labours. The government has skirted the real issues of justice and the long-held concerns, sadly, in this bill by keeping in that requirement for 5 years of residence in New Zealand post the age of 50. And we see this, I think, most starkly by the presentations and the submissions that asked for that to be taken out, including submissions from 2 heads of states. And if we look at the example of Niue, where there are less than 1,600 people living on those islands, there's a call for people to come home, to be able to participate in building and functioning of that country. This bill, by requiring people to spend 5 years in New Zealand post-50 and break their participation if they'd gone back earlier, or just calling them out, isn't actually in the interests of Niue, nor is it in the interests of this country and our overseas and development and aid budget. There are good reasons for this, but most of them, I think it is that people have paid and contributed through their taxes and years of work in this country, and are part of our realm, and they deserve the recognition of easy access to superannuation within the realm countries.